Hi, my name's Brian. Myself and my husband Julian have now been fostering with Capstone for almost 7 years. Life was completely different before fostering. We had our jobs, obviously. I would go off to work daily, as most people do. My husband still works. It was almost quite quiet. It was just us two and our dog. Um, and to an extent, it got quite mundane and quite Groundhog Day-ish. Um, it certainly was a more peaceful, relaxed way of life before fostering. We have always known that we wanted children. We've been together now for 18 years, and that conversation was always there from an early time in the relationship. Um, and I think it probably was reawakened again in or around 2010. And then for the next 4 years, it was there. The conversation of children was there, and it escalated in 2014 when we made the decision to go into foster care. We actually looked at quite a collection of options. We explored surrogacy. We also explored adoption, and we also obviously explored the fostering. We researched in depth all three, and our final conclusion was to go ahead with the fostering. We did a lot of research into the different fostering agencies, the local authority, and different independent agencies. We wanted to make sure we had an agency, not having any birth children ourselves. We wanted to make sure we had an agency that provided a lot of support and a lot of training and a lot of on-the-go training. And as it happened, my husband works with someone who turns out was also a Capstone foster carer. So our foot in the door was knowing someone already, an approved foster carer for Capstone. And that's how and once we did the research with Capstone, we realized that that was the one that would provide that support. Going in blind for us with no children, not really knowing what we were going into, we deemed Capstone to be the best fit for us. We made the call to Capstone, the initial call, and I think it was a day later, I think the first communications with them continued. And from that moment, we were never without the connection with Capstone. We had someone, I think, visit, it was about either a week later, and then discuss with us if we definitely wanted to go ahead, give us a lot of information. And as soon as we said yes, that support continued. We had someone here weekly to fill out our Form F. And as nervous as we were for that fostering process, that 6 months it took for the visits, the questions, just all of it was almost pleasurable. It was nice. It wasn't something, we were obviously really scared, really nervous, and it wasn't something we should have been nervous for. The whole process from start to finish was about 6 months, and it was enlightening, I think, for us to take a deeper look at ourselves, to understand fostering more, to attend the numerous trainings put in place during the fostering process, and to guide you towards the panel at the end of that 6 months. And indeed, that panel again was something we made ourselves very nervous for, needlessly, because it was an absolutely brilliant experience. I know so many carers that have the nerves, the fear, they almost make themselves poorly at the thought of going to panel. But it was an amazing experience. And looking back, it feels a bit odd that we got so scared about it when it went so well. The panel itself was a brilliant experience. We obviously go as a couple with our supervising social worker, and we are sat down. Even the way I'm saying it makes it sound so official, but we sit down in front of a panel of people, 7 or 8 I think it was for us, and each one on the panel has had a look at your Form F form that has been put together the previous 6 months. And each person on that panel will ask you one question, something about your Form F, something about your life, something they're intrigued about, something they may have enjoyed reading through your Form F, and you will go through each of their questions and answer their questions, and then you're on to the next room and you await the decision from the panel. It was a very brief 10-15 minutes for us, I think. I don't think it took very long at all. And we sat there with a cup of tea and some biscuits, and it was such a lovely experience to have. Again, like I said earlier, it was so needlessly fearful for us because it was a real pleasant experience. That very first night when our first young person moved in, it was a month after being approved at panel in the March, and he moved in. It was a teenager, actually. He was 14 at the time. He moved in the April, and I remember not sleeping that whole night. I was excited. I was nervous. Even the day in the lead up, we met him on the Wednesday. He came over to meet us. That was a nerve-wracking time itself. He came after school just to meet us and see how we were, how we got on with him, what he thought of us. And then he actually moved in on the Friday. And I'm pretty sure the whole weekend, actually, I didn't sleep. I was just a bag of nerves and excitement. And it almost feels like 5 minutes ago. I can't quite believe that 7 years have passed. But it was wonderful. It was, although everybody will be extremely nervous when it happens, no matter the age of the child that moves in, I think the excitement will definitely outweigh the nerves. Life is completely different now. Although I said before it was a much more relaxed, peaceful life beforehand when it was just my husband, myself, and the dog. Um, it certainly is no longer Groundhog Day. No 2 days are ever the same, and it's filled with children. It's filled with their appointments, their meetings. It's just filled with so much love and laughter and joy. And I think it was probably a life beforehand that was just plodding on, whereas now it's an enjoyable life. It's amazing. It's so wonderful, the stuff that we do with the kids, the stuff that we can help the kids do, the support that we can give the kids. It's never ever the same as the next day. The day before was the same as the next day. It's never the case, and it will be the same. It will be ever changing for years to come, I imagine. I would say to go for it, to not be scared, not be hesitant. There are so many same-sex couples out there that have the love to give, that have the support available. Um, and interestingly enough, actually, I think it was 2014 in an Action for Children report that was published. It said that 1 in 3 people in the UK still believe you cannot foster when you are in a same-sex relationship, or if you're a gay individual, which obviously isn't true. That's a staggering amount of people. I think it equates to 32% of the population. But there are so many people out there that, just like myself and my husband, would love to help children, would love to help support them, and have got the love to give. So if you're questioning whether or not to take that step and do it.